Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to our Srimad Bhagavatam Stuti series. Today is the last shloka of Bhishma Stuti, shloka number 42 of chapter 9, canto 1. Ramimamaham majam sharira bhajam
Ramimamaham ajam sharira bhajam
hridi hridi dhishtitam atmakalpitanam
hृदि dishtitam atma kalpitanam
pratidrishamiva naikadharkamekam
pratidrushamiva naikadharkam ekam
samadhigatosmi vidhuta bheda mohaha.
samadhigatosmi vidhuta beda mohaha.
Word for word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Tam, that personality of Godhead.
That personality of Godhead.
Imam,
now
present before me. Aham, I. Ajam, the unborn. Sharira bhajam, of the conditioned soul. Hridi, in the heart. Hridi, in the heart. Dhishtitam, situated. Atma, the super soul. Kalpitanam, of the speculators. Pratidrisham, in every direction. Eva, like. Na ekadha, not one. Arkam, the sun. Ekam, one only. Samadhigataha asmi. I have undergone trance in meditation. Vidhuta, being freed from. Bheda mohaha, misconception of duality. Translation: now I can meditate with full concentration upon that one Lord Sri Krishna, now present before me, because now I have transcended the misconceptions of duality. In regard to His presence in everyone's heart. Even in the hearts of the mental speculators. He is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently. But the sun is one. Okay, so this is the last shloka uttered by Bhishma Dev before his passing away. So we'll come to the purport of Prabhupada, but just to conclude this Bhishma Stuti, I will just read the translation of the next two shlokas before we go to the purport. So in the 43rd shloka, Suta Goswami is speaking. Thus Bhishma Dev merged himself in the Supersoul, Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with his mind, speech, sight, and actions, and thus he became silent and his breathing stopped. So, certainly, Ante Narayana Smriti for Bhishma Dev. He was meditating on Lord Krishna as he left his body. In this shloka, 44th shloka, knowing that Bhishma Dev had merged into the unlimited eternity of the Supreme Absolute, all present there became silent like birds at the end of the day. So a great Mahajan has gone back to the Supreme Lord, has entered the Vaikuntha planets. But look at the last shloka here. uttered by Bhishma Dev. So Prabhupada says in the purport, Lord Shri Krishna is the one absolute supreme personality of Godhead, but he has expanded himself into his multiplenary portions by his inconceivable energy. The conception of duality is due to ignorance of his inconceivable energy. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.11, the Lord says that only the foolish take him to be a mere human being. This is that shloka avajananti mura manusham tanumarshadam. Such foolish men are not aware of his inconceivable energies. By his inconceivable energy, he is present in everyone's heart, as the sun is present before everyone all over the world. The Paramatma feature of the Lord is an expansion of his plenary portions. He expands himself as Paramatma in everyone's heart by his inconceivable energy, and he also expands himself as the glowing effulgence of Brahma Jyoti by expansion of his personal glow. So, the Paramatma feature is an expansion of one of his plenary portions. So from Narayana comes the Vishnu Tattvas. So in this way, we understand that Paramatma is pervading everything in this universe. And his Brahma Jyoti is just like the personal glow of the Lord. It is stated in the Brahma Samhita that the Brahma Jyoti is his personal glow. Therefore, there is no difference between him and his personal glow, Brahma Jyoti, or his plenary portions as Paramatma. Less intelligent persons who are not aware of this fact consider Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma to be different from Sri Krishna. It is this conception that is being destroyed, or rather this misconception that is being destroyed by Bhishma Dev in this shloka. From Krishna comes Paramatma and from Krishna comes Brahma Jyoti. It's not that Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma are different from Krishna. They are just facets and expansions of Krishna. This misconception of duality is completely removed from the mind of Bhishma Dev, and he is now satisfied that it is Lord Shri Krishna only who is the all in everything. This enlightenment is attained by great Mahatmas or devotees, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.19, that Vasudeva is all in everything, and that there is no existence of anything without Vasudeva. So our challenge is that we experience duality. We see even material things to be separate from spiritual things. We see material things to be separate from Krishna. So the truth is that we actually experience duality when we can't see Krishna. And we'll come to how there are Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his conversation with Ramananda Rai in the Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita talks about 4 different ways in which we can always think of Krishna. So this enlightenment is attained by the great Mahatmas or devotees, as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.19, that Vasudeva is all in everything, and that there is no existence of anything without Vasudeva. Vasudeva, or Lord Shri Krishna, is the original Supreme Person, as now confirmed by a Mahajana. And therefore, both the neophytes and the pure devotees must try to follow in his footsteps. That is the way of the devotional line. So Bhishma Dev is one of the 12 Mahajans, and we can follow one or all of the instructions of the 12 Mahajans. The worshipable object of Bhishma Deva is Lord Shri Krishna as Partha Sarathi. And that of the gopis is the same Krishna in Vrindavanam as the most attractive Shyama Sundaram. Sometimes less intelligent scholars make a mistake and think that the Krishna of Vrindavana and that of the battle of Kurukshetra are different personalities. But for Bhishma Dev, this misconception is completely removed. So in the sense that all the expansions of Krishna are also part and parcel of him. So in that sense, you really cannot distinguish Krishna from his expansions because they come from him, they originate in him. So some people say that the Vrindavan Krishna is different than the Mathura Krishna and the Dwaraka Krishna. Yes, their mood is different, but no, they are the same Krishna. But for Bhishma Dev, this misconception is completely removed. Even the impersonalist's object of destination is Krishna as the impersonal Jyoti. So even the Brahma Jyoti comes from Krishna. And the yogi's destination of Paramatma is also Krishna. Krishna is both Brahma Jyoti and localized Paramatma. But in Brahma Jyoti or Paramatma, there is no Krishna or sweet relations with Krishna. So Paramatma is an expansion of Krishna. Brahma Jyoti is the effulgence of Krishna. In that sense, they are non-different from Krishna. But how is Krishna unique? He has sweet relations with his devotees. In his personal feature, Krishna is both Parthasarathi and Shyamasundara of Vrindavana. But in his impersonal feature, he is neither in the Brahma Jyoti nor in the Paramatma. Great Mahatmas like Bhishma Dev realize all these different features of Lord Krishna, and therefore they worship Lord Krishna, knowing him as the origin of all features. So while Paramatma and Brahma Jyoti emanate from Krishna, Krishna is not personally present in Paramatma or in Brahma Jyoti. So these topics are a little hard to understand, little hard to comprehend and wrap our hands around. But we know that the Brahma Jyoti is on the edges of the spiritual world because this is considered to be the effulgence emanating from the Lord's body. And Paramatma only exists in the material world. Why? Because the feature of Paramatma is to accompany the Jivatma and also support all of the cosmos until the creation, maintenance, and winding up process continues. The Paramatma does not exist in the spiritual world because once the Jivatma has entered the spiritual world, there is no need for Paramatma. Remember, the role of Paramatma is overseer and permitter. Upadrishta Anumanta. So he is only there to help the Jivatma fulfill whatever he wants in this material world. Spiritual desires or material desires. So that means Paramatma is not there in the spiritual world. Only Krishna is there, only Narayana is there. So simple explanations that Prabhupada has used to describe this Brahman feature, the Paramatma feature, and the Bhagavan feature of the Lord is the sun light, the sun glow, and the sun god. So someone who can only see the sunlight may not really understand that there is a sun glow also. Unless someone enters the sun glow, you will not discover the sun god. So it has nothing to do with the reality. It has to do with your recognition and realization. So that realization also is a gift of Krishna. So it is not that Brahman is the all in all or Paramatma is the all in all. It is that Bhagavan is the sum total of everything. And Bhagavan includes Paramatma and includes Brahma Jyoti. So coming to the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Madhya Leela, chapter 8, verse 268, there is a long conversation happening between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. And suddenly, Ramananda Rai understands that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually Krishna. So he says, sometimes I'm seeing you as a cowherd boy. Sometimes I see you with the flute in your mouth. Sometimes you are a sannyasi carrying a kamandalu. Sometimes I see Srimati Radharani. Who are you really? So that's the question Ramananda Rai poses Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not answer the question directly. How does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu respond to Ramananda Rai's question as to who are you? He glorifies Ramananda Rai. He says, hey Ramananda Rai, you have such deep love and affection for Krishna that you are simply seeing Krishna everywhere. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu still did not reveal himself completely to Ramananda Rai, didn't acknowledge that he was Krishna, but simply stated because Ramananda Rai had so much love and devotion and affection for Krishna, he was simply seeing Krishna everywhere. So in this particular verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Ramananda Rai how, or rather Prabhupada writes in the purport, how one sees Krishna or should train ourselves to see Krishna all the time. And there are 4 different ways to see Krishna. So just a summary from the purport of Prabhupada to that shloka. The first way we can see Krishna everywhere and in everything is to just recognize that his material energy and his spiritual energy is flowing through everything. From the mountains to the seas to the oceans to the various jivatmas, all of them are energies of the Lord. So all movable and immovable objects can simply be seen as the various energies of Krishna. For example, when you say a painting, you understand immediately that somebody has painted this. So the painter is present within the painting, just like an author is present within the book he or she has written. So we simply have to recognize that everything is coming from Krishna. So the first way is to see the energy of Krishna everywhere and in everything. The second way is to see Krishna as Paramatma within everything. How Paramatma is guiding the Jivatma, not just the human being, but also all animals and insects. For example, there is a wonderful video on butterflies that migrate from North America to South America. So if you think about a butterfly, it is such a delicate little insect. How does it travel so far and migrate all the way to North America to South America, or Mexico as its stopping point? It is said that 8 generations of butterflies have come into creation through the process of that migratory path. So that means by the time one butterfly has picked up and traveled from North America, they then mate, they have their children who then continue the travel, and their children who continue the travel. And like these 8 generations further down has actually arrived in South America. And the reverse travel also happens. Now, by the time 8 generations have come up, how do they know America, North America? Because they've not experienced North America yet, because they've been born elsewhere. So how are they guided back to North America? You can understand this is only through the potency of the Paramatma within them. So in this way, the second way in which we can recognize Krishna and see Krishna everywhere is that Paramatma is guiding all Jivatmas, who's directing all the Jivatmas' activities. The third way is a reference that Prabhupada makes to how the gopis see Krishna. and how the gopis discuss Krishna in Canto 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the gopis see when the trees are bending because of the wind, they immediately think, oh, these trees are offering obeisances to Krishna. They are thinking these flowers are serving Krishna so nicely. Govardhan is serving Krishna so nicely. And everyone and everything is engaged in the service of Krishna. So Prabhupada explains the third way in which we can see all Jivatmas and everything, movable, immovable, as potentially serving Krishna except themselves. That means we see everybody else as serving Krishna, but we don't think we are serving Krishna. That everybody else is eager and anxious in their service except us. So this is how the gopis were glorifying how the whole of Vrindavan was serving Krishna. They didn't see any exceptions to this, perhaps except for themselves. So they were glorifying the service of all animate and inanimate objects, as if they were all potentially engaged in the service of Krishna. And finally, the fourth way in which you can see Krishna is that whatever you see around you, it should act as a trigger or stimulus for you to remember Krishna. So anything and everything that you see, immediately you should connect it to Krishna. It should stimulate you. If you see the blue sky, you should think maybe this is one of the colors of Shyamasundara. If you see a beautiful lotus flower, you can imagine how these lotus flowers would look if they decorate the body of Krishna. If you see somebody else, you can think, oh, how nicely they can be engaged in the service of Krishna. So anything and everything can stimulate you to think or can act as trigger points for you to think and remember Krishna. And therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifies Ramananda Rai as being so advanced that he is able to see Krishna everywhere in everything, including in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Parikshit Maharaj, he says that the only goal of life for a human being is to see Krishna everywhere. So how do we train ourselves to see Krishna everywhere? Through these four processes. One is to see Krishna's energy everywhere, to see Paramatma operating within this universe, in everyone and in everything. 3, to see everybody else serving Krishna so nicely. And 4, when you see everything around you, it should trigger your memory of Krishna. So there is a beautiful saying that our worth does not come from what I have done or what I have achieved. My worth comes from belonging to Krishna. So generally, even devotees beat themselves up and say, I am so fallen, I'm not perfect, etc., etc. Krishna is not looking for your perfection. Krishna is only seeing, do you belong to me and do I belong to you? So our worth as a devotee comes from belonging to Krishna. Belonging to Krishna. And here, Bhishma Dev is now focused on his final second in the body. And he's acknowledging that maybe he had some incorrect understanding of this duality. Now he sees that Paramatma is actually there in everybody's heart. And therefore, he is ready to give up and return back to the spiritual world. And as Prabhupada has said in the purport, Bhishma Dev, because he's in the Virya Ras, he enters the Vaikuntha planet eternally to serve Lord Narayana there. Specifically, the deity that he is meditating on, which is Partha Sarathi.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.